Today I want to discuss a particular phrase that a doctor is likely to use, an oncologist is likely to use in speaking to you, and once you've been treated. So let's say you go through a course of treatment, maybe you have breast cancer, you have surgery to remove the lump, and then you get chemotherapy and maybe hormone therapy after that if you're HER2 positive, and things are going along swimmingly, and then the doctor says, we'll come in 6 months from now and we'll do some scans and we'll check things out, make sure everything's okay. You come in, you do the scans, and the doctor meets you later on, a couple days later, and he says, good news, the scans are clear. We don't see any evidence of cancer on the scans. Now, those scans may be MRIs or PET scans or CAT scans, typically CAT scans, and so on and so forth. There's many different ways they can do this. It all depends on the particulars of the situation. But let's say it's a CAT or CT scan, as they call it. And so what does this mean when the doctor says to you, oh, yeah, you're cancer-free? Of course, you're going to jump up and say, hallelujah, hallelujah, free at last, right? You're going to feel wonderful because your doctor has just told you, effectively, you're cancer-free because they didn't see any cancer on the scans. But is that what the doctor is really saying? And in all likelihood, she is not saying that. What she is saying is, given the limits of our technology, that can probably see tumors down to about 1 centimeter in size, or perhaps a half a centimeter in size. Now, a half a centimeter is about 2/10 of an inch, so it's quite small. But that's the limits of the technology. Even the Hubble telescope wouldn't be able to see a tumor smaller than that, even if they were able to get, telescope time to use it on you. In any case, when your doctor tells you your scan is clear, it's important to realize that in cancer, cancer is a disease of individual cells. Now, a cell is a very tiny thing. Even a clump of 100 cells together is going to be very tiny. It's going to be much smaller than half a millimeter. You're never going to see it. In fact, the only way to see it, because the only definitive test of cancer is to remove tissue and carefully prepare the tissue, cut it very thin, perhaps stain it, put it under a very expensive microscope, and look at the cells and determine, and a pathologist who is specialized in this area determines whether those cells are cancerous or not. Now, that means then that the only way to know for sure if you're 100% cancer-free would be to remove every cell in your body, carefully prepare it, look at it under a microscope, and then return it somehow to your body, which of course is impossible. It would effectively, as they took cell after cell out of your body, it would effectively kill you. And so there is really no possible way that medical science can do something like that and tell you that you are truly cancer-free. So there is always the possibility you have micrometastases, and I know this is a bit scary to hear. You want to enjoy the hallelujah moment where you're free at last, but unfortunately that's not the reality. And what I'm trying to discuss here in this series is a reality-based approach to understanding cancer, and try to give you more of the nuance and understanding of what's going on when your doctor says this or your doctor says the other thing. So you might want to discuss this with the doctor, bring it up and say, well, is there still the possibility there might be some cancer cells in there that you didn't see? And the doctor will almost certainly have to say, yes, that's true. And that's why we're going to have you come back in every 3 months for another scan. We're going to keep an eye on things. And then after a few years, if there's been no recurrence, maybe we can feel more comfortable saying you're truly cancer-free. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.